I'm always on the lookout for interesting things to make videos about. So when I saw the Bublcam, which is a 360-degree camera listed as a new project on Kickstarter, I immediately backed it. But that was back in November 13. It took a while to arrive. It turned up in August 15, and I'm going to show it to you now. One thing I should mention about this, it's still very much in beta, so you've got to take that into consideration while I show you some of the features. But let's get it out of the box first. That's the Bublcam, and in the bottom here we've got this other stuff. So laid out in front of you is everything you get inside the box. Just go through it quickly. Obviously this is a protected bag to carry the camera around in. Very good idea because the camera itself has lenses all around it. Pretty hard to carry it without scratching them otherwise. Got a mini tripod here. Standard tripod mount on the camera itself, so you can use any tripod with it, but you will need a tripod to take most of your pictures. This is a USB charger, US style plug, but it's a standard 2 amp output, and it is multi-voltage, so you could just put that into an adapter plug if you wanted, but I've swapped it out and used one of my ones from a tablet or a phone that's got a 2 amp output. We've got a USB mini B lead here. This is just for charging, not for data transfer. Got a lens pen, that's for cleaning those lenses of course, and you're going to end up touching them at some point by accident, so quite useful to have that. We've got a micro SD card inside this adapter, supplied in the box of course, 16 gigabytes, a UHS 1 or a class 10 card, so you've got everything in the box that you need to get up and running, no need to go and buy anything else. And we've got this little card inside the box which gives us a very brief quick start guide, download the app, charge the camera, that kind of thing. Let's have a quick look around the camera itself. Well, there's one lens on the top and then there's 3 other ones around the sides of the camera. Got a micro SD card slot there. I've put my card in it already. It's a spring-loaded slot. That is your USB port just for charging. And on the bottom we've got a decent quality tripod screw mount. Now where you see the Bubble logo on the side of the camera, that's an indicator light and a button, and below that we've got a little microphone hole as well. And if you're anything like me, the first thing that you thought of when you saw the Bublcam was the Jedi training ball from Star Wars that Luke Skywalker uses to practice his lightsaber skills against while he's on the Millennium Falcon. Anyway, back to the Bublcam itself. Let's switch it on. So you hold down the bubble button there. It turns blue to start with and starts flashing. It's got a bit of a boot up process, this one. It takes 30 seconds before it goes green, and that means that you can now use it. So when it's green, it's a simple matter of just tapping the button to take a photo. So tap it there. And as we step away from the camera itself, you can see it flashing red, much like that little light does on your camera when you're doing a self-timed shot. And when it's solid red, it's took the picture, and then it goes yellow, which means it's saving the picture to the memory card. Back to green again means we're ready to take another picture. We won't take a picture, we'll take a video, and by doing that you have to hold down the button for a couple of seconds. It goes white, so we're in a video standby mode now. Tap the button in this mode and you get the same flashing red thing to say it's just about to go, and then when it goes solid red on this one, it's taking the video. So at this point you get a full 360-degree video being taken by the camera. To stop it recording video, come over, tap the button on the camera. It'll go yellow again, which means it's saving or processing that file, combining all those images into one, saving it onto the micro SD card, and then once it's finished processing it, it'll go back to being white again, which means I could take another video, or perhaps like I'm doing now, holding it down a couple of seconds to go back into the photo mode. So those are your 2 modes, photos and video. And then if you want to switch it off, just hold it down for a few seconds and then the camera switches off. So that's the basic way of using it. Of course, it's really designed to use with an app. I'll show you that now. Now I've put it on this tripod in my conservatory here, so let's try taking a couple of pictures with it and I'll show you how it works. So again, switching it on, remember we have to wait 30 seconds. We've downloaded the app, I've got it on my phone here. So let's go into the Wi-Fi connections and connect up to the camera. The Wi-Fi is on all the time on the camera. So as soon as you switch it on, Wi-Fi comes on, you can see it there, connected up to it, and the password to it is 12345678. So just type that in now. You only have to type that in the first time. After that, your phone will remember the Wi-Fi password for the hotspot from the Bublcam. So we're connected up. We'll go back into the Bubble app now. Now when you first go into it, you get a screen here which shows you some other images that other people have taken, so you can have a look at those if you want, and you could download this app now even without the Bublcam and have a look at some of those and see how they look on your phone. You might be quite impressed with them. But anyway, let's look at our particular camera. So that circle at the bottom, we press that and it says generating preview. What it's doing is just getting it all together, and that's it. Now this is a live video feed. It looks better vertical, believe it or not, than it does horizontal. Horizontal looks a little bit strange sometimes, so I'm showing it you vertical now, but I will show you horizontal later on. But it's one of the few occasions that vertical video or photos actually look better than horizontal on a phone. But I'll come through this door now just to show you there's a bit of a lag as I walk through the door. I'm not striking a pose there. I've actually frozen, as you'll see in a second. I should get caught up, and I'm going out now. But as you can see, bit jerky, but the idea is just to get an image on the screen so you can check your camera's in the right place. Now you can also look at the images once you've recorded all the ones that you're about to record like this. You can put your phone into this mode where it's kind of like virtual reality almost. You're moving it around and it's looking in the location itself. Now that's what it looks like horizontal. You see what I mean? You can see more on the screen, but you're getting a pretty weird fisheye effect there. So it's entirely up to you which way you want to do it. And that's how you move around using it the normal way, just on the screen. And you can zoom in as well and zoom out, but zooming out again looks a bit weird. Also, you can have it in this sort of virtual reality mode where you get a 3D image, put that into one of those Google Cardboard or similar type goggles on your head, and you should get a 3D image there. Anyway, let's take a photo with this one there just to show you what that looks like. So we've got these options at the top here, photo, HDR or time-lapse. So we're in photo, so let's just take a still image. I think stills work best on this. It does do video, I'll show you that in a moment. But to take a photo, press the red button at the bottom. Bit of a delay, preparing to take a photo. Remember, that's when the red light's flashing on the camera itself. And then it takes the photo and it saves it. Remember, that yellow light will now be lit up on the camera. And then the generated preview is a preview of the screen or the image that we're looking at. Again, the live scene. It's not the one of the photo we've taken. So it takes a couple of seconds just to get back to the live video feed. And there we go. We're back live again now. So you can see we can move around the scene again. Now, if we go into HDR, you've got an option here as to your exposure range. And again, just press the button at the bottom and it'll take 3 photos this time. I can't tell you whether it combines them or not, or does 3 separate ones. I haven't managed to figure that out yet. I know it's a silly thing not to figure out, but I just haven't managed to find a photo that looks like it's been done as HDR on my camera yet. And then finally, we've got this time-lapse option. You can see you can adjust the intervals there. 15 seconds is the minimum between stills, because that's how long the camera takes to get ready after taking one still to take another still, but then you can do time-lapse. Now, in video, you've got 2 choices here, 2 different resolutions, 1920 by 1920 or 1440 by 1440. The lower resolutions at 30 frames a second, the higher resolutions are 15 frames per second video. So the video quality isn't too great. The resolution might be a little bit low for video. I'm going to show you some video though later on, and you can make your own mind up, and I'll have some links in the video description so you can have a play around. Now, we've got 3 different things here where the files are stored: on the camera itself, up in the cloud that I've uploaded, or on my phone. So if we look at one on the camera first of all, this is all the stuff that's on the micro SD card inside the camera, and this is using the Wi-Fi to show me the thumbnails on my phone, and then I can pick one of these and download it to my phone. So if I pick one there, this is a photo loading in over Wi-Fi. It's now on my phone. As you can see now, I can scroll around this scene just like I could before. This is a scene I took in the centre of Manchester. You can see the effect of the 360 degrees there. It's quite impressive. You've got to get in the right location to take a good shot. I'll show you some video now as well. I put this on my car. It became a bit of a Google Street View car, and drove around, and let me show you some footage from that. Now again, notice here we're loading video in over Wi-Fi to the app, so it takes a while the first time. It's loading the whole video into the phone so it can play it. It doesn't really stream it as it goes along. So now you can see there, this is the video I took from that vantage point on top of the car. I think this is the 15 frames per second mode, so this is about as good as the video gets. It's a little bit dark in places. It wasn't actually all that dark out. It was sort of evening time, but it wasn't dull. So this is a camera that doesn't work particularly well in low light. It likes nice bright conditions. But there you go, that's my 360 degree video in the car. Now the thing I'll show you next is I'll show you that in a horizontal mode as well, but I just want to show you what happens once you get to the end of it. You can save it to my Bubble app, which is basically meaning it's saving it to your phone. So now it's on the phone. These are the ones I've got on my phone, and I'll show you how quickly those load. So there you go, this is the same video, loads straight away now, and that's what it looks like as a landscape mode. So there you go, that's a 360 degree video taken with the Bublcam. It isn't a waterproof camera. You can see it's got all the holes in the sides of it and things, so you've got to only use that when it's nice dry weather. Now you can upload things to the cloud. You can send people links over Twitter. They can click on those on the phone or on the computer, as I'm showing you now, and they can look at the images that you've recorded. These are saved in the Bubble Cloud, which is their own app, and as you can see here, you can scroll around. I've uploaded a couple of these to Twitter previously, but I'll have some links in the video description so you can try a few out for yourself. They do look best on phones though, rather than on a computer. Now, if you use Chrome, you can watch the videos. The videos only play in Chrome, whereas the stills seem to work in pretty much any browser. So that's one of the videos that I've taken in Manchester. Notice I'm on the left-hand side there, and I'll more about that later on. Now, to charge the camera, you plug the lead in there, but that doesn't do data transfer. To get data off the camera into your computer, you're going to have to take out that micro SD card, put it in some kind of reader, and put it into your computer. This is if you want to get the files off it. You're better off using the app, really. If you get the files off, you can see here, I've just got a load of files on the memory card. If I just look at one of them here, that's what it looks like, and that is the thumbnail for it. The thumbnails are what you see when you put the app on your phone. It shows you all the thumbnails first and then streams across the real files. So you can see there, we've got the three on the left almost, which are the three around the outside, and then the one on the bottom right is the top lens looking out of the camera. So we'll just have a look at one of those video files. As you can see, get the same kind of results here. We've got the three videos around the top and the bottom left, and then the bottom right one pointing straight up into the sky. So if you want to make something out of these, something useful, you're going to have to find a program for your computer that can combine these. But to be honest, I don't use it on the computer. I just use the app to view these videos. One thing I did notice when I put it in the computer, though, the frame rates seem to be a little bit less than were promised. We've got 13.87 in the high resolution mode, and then 23.3 in the lower resolution. That should be 30, so not too sure what's going on. Maybe my program wasn't reading it properly, but it did seem to vary depending on the file I was looking at. If you want to know all about the full tech specs of the camera, go to bubblecam.com. All the information you need is there. It'll tell you it'll take up to a 32 gig card, for example, and the focal lengths of the lenses, the weight, the size of the thing. So all the information that you need if you're into the technical stuff is there. Now, one problem that you're going to have with this camera is that you always get this weird baldy guy in shot. You think he's not there, you look around the scene, but no, he's sat there looking off into the distance. And then sometimes he pretends he's got nothing to do with the camera, but he really has. Or he's got his weird webbed hand holding the camera, and he's getting some very strange looks from passers-by. And then when you think, oh great, he's not in shot, that makes a change. There he is, hiding under a tree in the background. The problem is that with this camera, you're going to have to hold it yourself if you're out in public. You don't want to leave your camera on a monopod in the middle of a scene, walk away from it, because someone will just run off with it in most places that I take photos anyway. So you're left either with a choice of holding it in front of you, which is no use because you're missing off half of the image, or attaching it to the little tripod, holding that above your head in a stance I'm going to call the Statue of Liberty. Or you could also do the none shall pass thing with your big monopod. That gets some better shots, but you do look like an absolute lunatic. This shot was taken like that. I held it up above my head, put it on top of one of these posts on the ground. So I've got a good shot, but God, did I feel like a nutcase. The problem is, with a 360-degree camera, you want to take something that looks interesting in 360 degrees. That means there's interesting things behind you as well as in front of you. So you don't stand at the side of something, you tend to walk right out in the middle of it. Like here I am in Albert Square in Manchester taking a picture of the town hall. To do this I had to hold a monopod up above my head and take this photo whilst people walked past and went, what's that guy doing? Bit of a weirdo, isn't he? Now, admittedly, the circumstances weren't the best. If I was on a beach or in a speedboat, something I'd never do, full of people, and we're all going, woo, we're on holiday. Hey, everyone, look at the camera. It's a 360-degree picture. Everyone smile. Woo, yeah, great. That'd be fine. But no, it's not that. I'm a guy in the middle of Manchester wearing an anorak holding a stick above my head. I'm going to get some funny looks. For example, when I took this shot here, which is something I take with all the cameras that I demonstrate, it's the only time I've been approached by a security guy saying, we've had reports of someone taking photos. I said, yeah, look at this 360-degree photo. He went, oh, that's quite impressive, isn't it? He said, do you mind deleting that? I said, I'm not going to delete that. Did you realise how much effort it took to take that picture? Now, it took me a long time to do the battery test. What I'd normally do is set the camera off recording, put it in front of a clock, see how much it's recorded when I look at the files later on. Didn't work on this one because what happened when the battery went flat, it deletes the file that's currently being recorded, which was the whole file. So what I had to do short little videos, and I figured out that it will record for up to an hour in the video mode. Now you might think you can extend that by putting a wire on the bottom of it and powering it by that USB port, but I found that when I tried that, the camera still ran down while it was recording, so that's not an option. So yeah, get about an hour out of it, but there's a bit of a glitch there I need to figure out with perhaps a firmware update. But I should point out, this camera is still in beta at the time I made this video anyway, so you got to give a bit of allowance for some of these things. For example, the app itself is pretty crashy. You'll find it drops out all the time, and occasionally it just goes completely mad and stitches the images together in the wrong order, as you can see here, which is quite surreal but pretty useless. Another thing that you probably noticed during the course of this video is that the stitching isn't always perfect. Sometimes it seems to work out fine, but as you can see on the next sign here, it hasn't stitched it together properly there. And look at the top of the town hall, you can see we've got a ghost image up there. There is an option in the software to realign the image. So I went into that with that town hall image, but it was unable to realign that one because it said the image was too dark or something like that. I can understand why. It was a pretty dull image. I then read up on what you have to do to get a decent quality image so you can realign it. So once I'd taken that picture of the conservatory, I did notice that the window over there, you can see, isn't quite matching up properly. So that looks like a nice clear image to try the realignment with, and I did try it with that one, and it actually successfully said it had realigned it. So looking at the comparison between the two images, we've got the new one on the top and the old one on the bottom, so you can see there does seem to be some improvement there. Let's just zoom in and have a look. So that's what it was like before, and that's what it's like now. So definitely better. The window on the right seems a little bit funny, but it's a lot better than it was before. So if we accept that, you can see it says we've successfully adjusted the image alignment, and the next time you use the camera it will load those settings up into the camera. There is a bit of a problem though. I'm going to be unable to show you any new images recorded after that alignment. All the images I've got were recorded before I did the alignment, and the reason I can't show you any new ones, towards the end of making this video, the Bublcam died. But here's the Bublcam in happier times while it was still working. I'll send it back, get it replaced under the warranty. That won't be a problem. However, what is more of a problem is finding the right location, the right situation to take a 360-degree photo. It's a lot more tricky than you might first think. And one thing I hadn't considered was the embarrassment factor of standing in the middle of a big public space holding a stick with a ball on it above my head. So there you go, that was my look at the Bublcam. Certainly an interesting experiment while it lasted, but I'm not sure how much use I'll get out of it going forward. Anyway, that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.